Okay. So. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking this apart. I'll be dry firing it just to show you that it does work. CO2 is really low and it's leaking. I'll fix that problem later. So, here's what you're going to do. You're not going to make the same mistake as me. There's 3 pins that come out. This one right here does not need to come out. This one is fake, and it took me forever to realize that it's fake. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a small Allen wrench, big enough, this one is the smallest right here, this pin is the smallest that we need to take out, so it's small enough to fit in there. And then we're going to take a piece of wood, or whatever, or hammer those pins out. Watch carefully. So this pin, and this pin need to come out. Alright, and then from there, what you're going to see when you open this up is that just comes right out. A few key things. So, this forwardmost pin, if you see that, if you look through that hole, you won't see anything. There's no light, and you're like, oh, I wonder if I screwed it up. I wonder if I can't put it back together. But no, you're going to be fine if you just put the pin in from the left side. You will be fine. And note that the pins have knurling on the left side. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, they're knurled. So here you have a few key mechanisms. You have this spring assembly bit with a giant rubber block. See where that's been imprinting there. And then from there, we have this trigger mechanism, which just comes out like this. Hold on. Pull it forward. If you notice, this is not like a real Glock. This is it has a hammer. And because the spring is not like against anything, it's not against the smallest pin. Once in the frame, the hammer is not spring loaded right now. So what we're gonna do is this, pull the trigger, then your hammer can go forward. That's going to come in handy later. So here there's a few key parts. You can take this sear bit off that goes back when you pull the trigger. If you see that, and then I snipped a little nib off of it that gets like pushed down by the frame when you pull it back in hopes to make it full auto, but that did not work. If you take that off, there is this little spring to contend with, so that can be a pain. The hammer is kind of weird. It's single action, or it's like double action, whatever you call that. So it's like weird. And so if you're just cleaning and getting a stuck BB out, you shouldn't need to go any farther than there. If you really have to, you can go in there and you can clean. You can put oil in the parts there. Yeah. So the slide, there's some more stuff on the slide. Here's like the firing pin thing. That's kind of how this works. Because this bit comes forward when it's struck by the hammer. Wow, this thing is cold. And it releases some gas. We have this thing. You know, spring mechanism, doesn't want to stay to one side. Fake extractor. Got your base plate back here you can take off. I guess if you wanted to, like, right here, unscrews, and then also unscrews your rear sight. So if you wanted to like 3D print something, which I might try later, to mount an optic, that would work. Another thing, yeah, that's about it. I tried unscrewing this, but it was just going to strip the screws, so that wouldn't work. So yeah, that's how you take it apart. Let's put it back together. And this is pain. You have a fake slide release on one side that's going to fall out. You don't really need that. I'm not going to have it in there because I don't feel like having that. So, to get this back in, it's a pain, but here's what you got to do. So you slide it back in like that. You slide it all the way in. Okay, this has never happened before. Hold on. Alright, so you got to get your hammer above that bit right there. Oh wow, this is not going good. Alright. I haven't seen anybody else on the internet do this. There we go. We got that. So it's sliding in there. We got it locked into the slides. So the slide's there. Now if you notice, the hammer is kind of weird. And if you put it in right now, if you put it in the frame and put all the pins in, the spring will not work for the hammer. So what you have to do is pull the trigger, put the hammer all the way forward, make sure it's all the way forward. It's got me a couple times. And you put it in, slide it in. Oh, something to note on the frame. Here's the safety, and there's this little thing that comes out. So that's there if you ever need to deal with that. It's just the stupid safety on this thing. So you just put it on, and there it is. If you're wondering why your front sight is loose, it's just molded in there. So I would just get in there, put some super glue in there, make sure it stays down, and yeah. So that's if you don't want your front sight to be loose. So, hold on. Oh, I just goofed that up. Yeah, you don't want to rack the slide while you have it in there with no pins. And now, I'm going to get the smallest pin. Make sure it's the smallest pin. I'm going to put it in so the knurled side, wow, that goes in real easy. The knurled side is on your left, is on the left of the handgun with the slide release and everything. Alright, and now our spring is locked. So what we're going to do is, again, on the left side, we're going to take one. You see how you can't see any light through that front one? There's a little angled bit, so if you just push this in there hard enough, it'll slide that spring part forward, and you'll be good. Make sure you get them all the way in. And our final one. And I just get this. That knurling doesn't want to go in the polymer frame. So now you can cycle it. Mine, the hammer stays forward when you're pulling the trigger. Clearly, you know, like double action right there, and then yeah, so yeah, and then we put this in. There's not any pressure left in that tank. This thing keeps leaking. I'll have to fix that in another video. So, yeah. And also with these, don't tighten them all the way. That's what other people say. Yeah, there's nothing left in that tank. And this needs to go in the trash. Or the recycling if you want to be like that. Yeah. There you go. That's how you disassemble one of these. This cost me like 120 bucks at Fleet Farm. It's like 90 bucks online, so I'm kind of mad about that. My safety still works. It's gonna get the hammer forward for when I store it. And that's how you take it apart. I don't know, I'm probably forgetting, but I don't really care. Not my problem.